Mental Health Monday
on Radio City Talk
with Mick Coyle.
Tackling the stigma.
Radio City Talk.
Delighted to say, joining us on the programme, 1 year on from the documentary Through the Storm, former Liverpool defender, wing-back Jason McAteer joins us on the programme. Jason, thank you for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, great to be here. Thanks.
Through the Storm was a brilliant eye-opener, I thought, working in various different people within the football club and affiliated with Liverpool Football Club, looking at the issue of mental health and really laying bare, Jason, just what an issue it not only is, but has been as well in the past, in a way that maybe people hadn't thought about it, but they certainly think about that now, don't they?
Yeah, it was done by an extremely good professional team at Liverpool TV. It was a pleasure working with them. You know, it took a while to get it together. And then obviously took a fair bit of time to do, because it's such a sensitive subject and we wanted to approach it from all different angles, obviously in a limited time, but I felt the team done a magnificent job. For as difficult as it was for me, it was probably the easiest of the jobs to do amongst it all. You know, the editors had to go through a lot of stuff and a lot of upsetting stuff and sensitive stuff, as I mentioned, and it was a difficult time and a difficult thing to put together, but the outcome was amazing. The response has been brilliant, and hopefully the message that we want is bring awareness and just tell people that it's good to talk. So yeah, we've had great feedback from it, and obviously we need to keep it going, and this is something on the you know, with the new season getting underway, that we feel the need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And football has a way of making those connections. Did you get a sense from it and conversations you've had since that people have thought, oh, I can talk about this stuff now because I saw people like Jason McAteer talking about it?
Yeah, like I said, we've had a lot of feedback. A lot of emails have come into the club, letters, and through various avenues and stuff. And obviously we can't reach out to everybody. It's just impossible. But we've, you know, struck up a couple of deals with different companies that are going to help us out, and you know, we can point in the right direction if it comes through the football club. So we've done that. From a personal point of view, obviously I've been asked to do quite a lot of stuff. I've done a couple of things in Ireland, and obviously now this has come up with Mercedes-Benz vans. It's something that I felt was interesting to do on the eve of the new season starting, and it's just an eye opener for some of the figures that they've come out with, and you know, they've used sport as something that they can promote and hopefully people can get involved in, and I thought it was necessary to push it out there. Yeah,
and in terms of that idea that, you know, for a lot of people, you know, the football season will come along and it's maybe a brief interlude in the week where they can forget about the problems and the strifes and the issues that are going on in their lives. They can get together with their friends and go on and cheer on their team, albeit for a brief amount of time, a couple of hours.
Yeah, but it's important, isn't it, that you de-stress from the week that you've had. You know, it's this never switching off culture that is kind of crept in, which is what they mean by that is people are taking the work home, so they'll get in from the workplace and they'll just fire up the laptop, and you know, they'll answer emails, they'll get on the phone, they'll be taking calls, you know, right throughout the night, so they never get away from their workplace and the stress that brings. It's fascinating to see that 16% of them people just never switch off, you know, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. They're constantly thinking about what they're doing at work, so they never get that release and that de-stress from them pressures. So, you know, it's not just about going to the match and cheering on your team. It's about being involved in a community. It's about being around people. And if you do have a problem, then if you feel comfortable enough to speak to them, which is the message that I'm kind of pushed out through the documentary, is if you do have a problem, you must speak to people and you must tell them that, you know, you have a problem and you need help. That's the most important thing. But if you go to the match, at least you've got that support network there around you if you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And those conversations might feel difficult to start. And I guess as well, that's why, as sort of mates and in particular men who are particularly bad at this stuff, we've got to be open to having those conversations, or somebody starting those conversations with us. Because although we might think, oh, I don't have any issues of stress, anxiety isn't an issue for me, it might be for literally the bloke stood next to you at the football. It might be for the bloke sat opposite you in the pub, or your mate who works in the same office as you.
Absolutely. And you know, if you watch the documentary, you'll see that, you know, people were absolutely unaware of things that were going on, and you know, then the outcome that, you know, the documentary showed, it's just devastating. And you know, and that's someone who went to the football match, had friends around him, and just couldn't feel the need to tell somebody that he had problems. So, there'll be a lot of people who go to the match, whether it's football, rugby, or in other, games or whatever it is. They'll go to sporting events, and they have this network around them, but they don't feel the need to speak. I think as men, I think there is that masculine side to us, isn't there? We feel we can sort everything out ourselves and stuff, and sometimes that just isn't the case, And I think it's vitally important that if someone does ask, "Are you okay?" and you've got a problem, that you do say, "Listen, no, I'm not actually. I've got this problem or that problem." As minor as it may seem, the smallest thing can build and build and build to the point where you just can't get yourself out of trouble. So it's important that you do share them problems, and if your friends are there and they've got anything about them, then they will help you out either personally or point you in the direction of professional help. So and I think for men, I think professional help was a bit of a taboo, isn't it? It's like, you don't want to go and see someone, you don't want to talk to someone, you don't want to tell someone your problems. But I found it was the biggest help for me. I went for 5 or 6 months. By the end of it, I was, really enjoying it, in a funny way. I was enjoying the time spending there, talking about my problems, and I sorted it out, and I come out the other side, which was great. But it's something that I needed to do, and I'm so glad that I did it.
Well, that's one of the things, isn't it, around sort of being, too weak to speak, if you like, where, people think the weakness comes from speaking out, but actually the strength, the sign of strength within an individual is the person who stands up and goes, "You know what, I've got a problem and I need to speak to somebody about it." That's a sign of inner strength in a way that somebody who else maybe is thinking, "I'm just not going to do that because I'll look weak." Well, you're only on a negative track if you're doing that. It's such an interesting one, and I've spoken to many charities on this issue, Jason. Yeah. One of the other things around this, and I think it's so crucial with this always-on culture, is that sometimes people take football so seriously now that because it's become part of this sort of 24-hour lifestyle that we've got, that some people also see it as almost as serious as going to work and things like that. It's supposed to be the fun thing we do. It's supposed to be the thing we go and enjoy. It's supposed to be the thing we do with our mates. And I know there are a lot of charities, domestic violence charities in particular, who are sometimes concerned by the return of things like the Premier League and World Cups because of the rise of incidents. And I just wonder whether or not that's symptomatic of that always-on culture, that people aren't able to see the difference between things you're supposed to go and enjoy, even if you win or lose or draw, versus things which are, work and constant pressures that are on at you from the world outside.
Absolutely. I mean, it's your team, isn't it? And sometimes you can become obsessed with that, and that's the importance of finding the right balance, isn't it? I was lucky enough to go away with Liverpool and through the pre-season tour, and Jamie Webster come with us, and I don't know if you've seen Jamie sing this culture of all the football fans songs now, the Firmino song and the Salah song, and he does a concert, like a 90-minute concert for football fans who can come and watch and just experience that. And it was great to see people come along and sort of enjoy themselves and sing along, and everyone got involved, and no one stood there feeling out of place, and it was just brilliant. It was the way that football fans should be. We were celebrating Liverpool's Champions League. We were celebrating the songs, the players. We was interactive with the fans. I went to plenty. We'd done about 4 or 5 concerts when we were away. We took them with us on tour, and it was just brilliant to be around that environment. But I do know what you say. I go to, and then I'll go to the game, and I'll see players, they'll be effing and blinding at the players and, screaming at the top of the voices, and their head's about to blow off, and you're thinking,
it's supposed
just
to be
calm
fun.
down. It's like, it will be, one, it'll be okay. But 2, just relax, and you're here to enjoy yourself. It's something that we've come to watch. It's fun. We'll be all right in the end. But you're right, people do become obsessed, and it's something maybe that needs to be looked at. And but that's it, innit? It's down to the old Bill Shankly line, innit? It's more than. It's not just football, it's more than that. So it's important that we don't get too carried away.
Jason McAteer, thank you for your time.
Cheers, thanks.
Mental Health Monday with Mick Coyle.
On Radio City Talk.